In order to sew it out, I've got my pennant with this cover stitching and the serging done. I've marked the center marking where I want it to be. I've got my pre-cut applique shape. I've got the design open on my screen. So I could just simply attach the hoop and then move my needle until it's lined up with the center. And if you don't have the Acusetter app for the 15,000 or the S9, that's exactly what you would do. Is just attach your machine and just move your needle until it's lined up with center, because I just stuck the pennant right onto some Perfect Stick tearaway stabilizer. So we're going to go ahead and show you how you can use the app or Acusetter app. In order to use the app, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to open the app and I'm going to select my machine. So this is machine's going to find, or the app will find any machine that is on the Wi-Fi. I'm going to select my machine and receive the design. Once I've done that, I'm going to line up the image here and make sure I can see all 8 markings that are on my hoop. So I'm holding my iPad above so that I can see all 8 markings, and then I'm simply going to take a picture. Now I'm going to take these markings and line them up so they align with the markings on the hoop. It zooms into the middle. So the middle is just a zoom. I'm actually lining up the markings on the hoop. So once I get all of those lined up, I'm going to press next. And now I could just line that crosshair up with the crosshair that I've marked. If I wanted to fine tune that, I'll hit next. And now I could decide, well, maybe I wanted to move it just a little bit different, but I'm gonna just move it. I can visually see exactly how it's going to look on my project. So I can arrange it. I could also resize it, but I don't want to do that because I'm going to leave it just the way it is. I could rotate it. So that actually looks good. So I'm going to go ahead and just hit send, and then it goes right back to my machine, and I'm ready to sew it out exactly where I want it. I'm going to review the color changes here. Now you'll notice, since I created this in the software, the first thing it does, and I'm going to touch my symbol here to break it into the individual color changes. The first is just going to be my placement line, and that tells me the color that I've selected. Then it actually says tack down. So the software created a tack down line. So that would, and then it's going to do another tack down. That's going to be the applique stitch, and then the last color change will be the decorative stitch in the middle. So we'll start by placing the placement line. And now I can take my pre-cut applique shape. I'm going to remove the steam-a-seam backing, and then it's going to be a little sticky, so I'll be able to just stick that right into position. I'm going to use my hoop forward key. That's this key right here. I'm going to touch that key, and that will draw the hoop toward me to make it easy for me to place my applique shape right where I want it to be. So I can place that right in here. See if it's get it so that it lines up perfectly. So the Steam Seam 2 is going to stick in place to kind of hold that for me. And I will touch that same key to put it back. And the next thing it's going to do is the tack down. So if I hadn't pre-cut it, I would have placed a piece of fabric and it's going to stitch that shape again, and then I would manually trim up to the stitch line that it's creating right now. So that's just an extra stitch that I could have eliminated. And now it's ready to do the applique stitch. And again, I have made that a little bit wider so you can see it stitching around. We'll let that finish. I'm going to change my thread color to yellow and let it do the center of the design. And so now we have our completed applique on one of the banners.